Hi guys, it's me, Kat, Mrs. Sandy, are you? I hope you guys are doing really well today. I really do mean it. And I thought I'd talk about the Titanic for a minute, or a couple of minutes, I should say. And Derek Johnson was on with our Tom Numbers, Tom Bushnell, and he mentioned that this coming Friday, today's Wednesday, on 4/14, is the first World Quantum Day. And that's when I guess all the businesses or colleges, places like that would be interested in quantum mechanics, physics, anything to do with quantum technology will be either talking about it or doing projects with it, or I'm not sure, but explaining it a little better to maybe the students. And anyway, so that's coming up on Friday. Now that just happens to be, so the first World Quantum Day is Friday, and it happens to be the date that the Titanic hit the iceberg, in quotes, because even though it was like damaged, because it really was, in my opinion, it was the Olympus, it wasn't the Titanic, and so that already had damage to its hull, the Olympus, and then it probably was badged to look like the Titanic. Regardless, whatever ship it was, supposedly hit an iceberg. And that was on the 14th in 1912, April 14th, 1912. And I'm sorry, I still have a cold. And let's see, lost it. So the Titanic hit the iceberg, and you know who was on the Titanic. It was the wheeler dealers that were against a U.S. Federal Reserve being enacted, because they knew that would ruin the country and that we would have no control over our money anymore. So anyway, the cat's distracting me. So anyway, so yeah, the ones who wanted the Fed were supposed to be on the ship, as far as I understand. Correct me if I'm wrong, and that they conveniently didn't get on the ship, but the ones who didn't want it were on the Titanic, so they were the ones who died. Let's see, so that happens to be, the same date as World Quantum Day. All things to do with money. I guess that's the point. The Titanic is what helped get the Fed in, got its foot in the door. And World Quantum Day is like, we're going to have, a quantum financial system, or we are, I guess, likely running parallel to the quantum financial system. And anyway, so let's see, what else did I forget to tell you? Oh, and it's funny, yeah, I forgot this part. It's funny that the name of the ships, when you think about Titanic and you think about the other one, the Olympus, they were like twins, another twin reference for my, there's a twin, Adams and twin Eves, twin, Jesus's twin Marys, kind of, and anyway, so Titans were the gods who were the bad guys, if you want to look at it that way, and the Olympians were the good guys. So it's funny that I don't think it's a coincidence that they were named after those gods, and that the gods are here. I think they're here working on everything. So let's see. So I'm wondering if starting maybe on the 14th, maybe, everything I say is a maybe, right? So don't freak out, but just be prepared. And we'll find out soon enough if I'm wrong, right? I've been wrong a lot of times. Yeah, could another series of banks fail? Could it be the big bank failure where it's just a cascade, which, the white hats have control over what's going on. So it would be all set up that way on purpose so that we could flip eventually into the quantum financial system, out in the open. So I don't know, just have some money on hand, have your gas tank filled. It's not a big deal, you know. Uh, let's see. So that could happen. And the actual, let's see, the ship going down, when you think about down, you think market down maybe, because it's all to do with financial, you know, comms or however you want to look at it. Yeah, so it actually went down the next day on the 15th. So that would be this Saturday. Yeah, so I don't know. There's different ways the market could collapse. It could be yet another big bank failure, making a cascade, or maybe it's just a few more. You know, I'm just theorizing. It could be a few more bank failures, but not be the big thing that closes the markets. You know, it could be that. It could be from a pretend false flappy thing. You know how I call that false things on a flagpole? You know, that's like a white hat fake thing. That's what's been going on lately. I'm sure you know that by now. And so it could be like a false attack, you know, like a third world, you know what? A third world, I might as well say just war. And so it could be that. Could be from outside the U.S., could be from inside the U.S. I don't know. So it could look, like I said, could look like a second wave of bank failures, or it could be the big thing. It could be like the big nail in the coffin of the Fed. And, you know, I know everything's fine. I know everything's fine. So, you know, I'm saying nail in the coffin, but, you know, it's not really a bad thing. And yeah, so, okay, here's more about the Titanic, which kind of goes along with what I was thinking. So we're in April 2023 right now, in case you're from the future, like looking backwards in time. So I checked out how long ago this happened, and it was 111 years ago. And so that made me think of New York, because New York is the financial capital of the world. So, you know, so New York is 111. And so that's how I started off with, you know, I did New York. And in Jewish gematria, it's quantum financial system. So everything I just happened to do, you know, I picked New York because it was 111. If I picked another 111, you know, something else to look at on gematrix.org, all the Jewish ones would have been different, you know. So to me, it was yet another signal that because I chose New York, you know, that's how I feel like things talk to me. God talks to me. And he could just be telling me to have a heads up. It could be coming. Maybe he's not saying it's this weekend, you know. I don't know. I hate to upset people, but it's better to be ready, right? It's always better to be ready no matter what. Okay, so it's quantum financial system, it's power station, and then this whole phrase, to collapse Federal Reserve matches. You know, I don't know. What do you guys think? Will you please enter a comment and tell me what you think? Or if you're ready, or you're not worried about it. I hope you're not. I hope you're not worried, because I'm kind of here to try to help everybody get through all this. At least that's the way I feel. And okay, to collapse Federal Reserve. Look at the rich man weep is one. I don't know if you could hear me because I'm having a hard time talking, but look at the rich man weep. And yeah, like crying. Like I hate to laugh, but it is a little bit funny. So make sure, like Janine on Tarot by Janine, she said that it's about time to let people know what you think and maybe not scare them half to death, you know, or give them a lot of stuff, just a little bit, to be like, well, just have a little money on hand. That's all you need to do for now. Or, It's always good to have groceries in case there's another round of diseases, or something like that. You could tell them things like that. And they might just say, oh yeah, after all that, I'm ready. I don't want to be without whatever, X, Y, and Z, because that was awful back then. They might just say that. And then you go, oh yeah, that's great. Yeah, so look at the rich man weep. Wall Street a-holes. I don't want to say it. It's just one of those words I don't like. But Wall Street a-holes. No poverty. And then this one, he sent me 5 bombs at midnight. Now, you know what that phrase is like he sent me 5 decodes or 5 bits of info that were, exciting for this person to look at. And that's why that's entered in there. He sent me 5 bombs at midnight. And, sorry, this is Misty. If you're new, it's Misty. And, yeah, my stomach's grumbling. What else is going to go wrong? The cat threw up on the floor right as I was starting. Oh, no, first, wait, I'm sorry. I'll get to this in a second, but I had to tell you. I'm already talking about the cat. Might as well. I finally got settled. I got all my notes. I got everything ready, all that stuff. And the doorbell rang. Nobody ever rings my doorbell, like ever, unless it's a UPS or Amazon delivery or something. And the doorbell rang, and then I looked out the window and nobody was walking away from the steps. It was a Jehovah's Witness. I haven't had one here, I don't think ever. So I thought that was funny. And and of course I got the pamphlet, and I know people say, oh, don't take the literature, they'll just come back, but that's okay, I don't care. They can come back. And it's, will the suffering ever end? Right? Well, yes, it will. The suffering will end. And and she says, she's very nice person. And she said, I think she had like a Jamaican accent, I'm not sure. She's really, really nice. And she said, not many people think about this or something like that. Well, you want to, do you know about Jesus? And I said, yeah, Jesus is good with me. I like Jesus. And I said, thank you so much. I'm all set. It was really funny. But will the suffering ever end? And, in my opinion, the suffering will end after the beast event from Revelation 11. That's always my opinion. And that will be, with the, instead of 2 witnesses in the Bible, I think it's 4. I've talked about that a lot before. And it's John Jr. and President Kennedy and Princess Diana and Jackie Kennedy. And I don't say Onassis because that was a fake wedding. So just like John's wedding that was like secret wedding and all that, I think that was fake too. And Carolyn was always Diana. So we've hit all of my high notes here. So, enough of that. Honey, you gotta stop. You gotta stop that. I gotta read. Okay, so back to what I'm really supposed to be talking about. Okay, so New York, I was doing that, and Jewish gematria, I told you that. He sent me 5 bombs at midnight. So it doesn't necessarily mean midnight, but is it going to be, some chemical thing where you got to wear a gas mask or NUKEs or whatever? I don't know. But I've gotten lots of comms from, somebody on Truth Social. What is it? I can't think of his name. I wasn't going to talk about him. Anyway, where I get comms. And there was a few weeks ago about gas masks. And anyway, so I thought that was a big deal. Oh, I think it's at history. That's all it is. It's at history. It's called something else, but if you look up at history on Truth Social, you'll find it. And he puts out comms constantly. And all it is photos. So pretty much, and my stomach's grumbling again. Oh, you guys. So let's see. So it sank 111 years ago, right? So that was Jewish gematria I did. And I'm always forgetting to tell new people, gematria is A equals 1 all the way through Z equals 26. And it's just Bible coding or decoding. And I use gematrix.org. And also I remember I don't remember tons, but I remember some of them. So putting them in your phone, like I use WhatsApp, and you can put it in there. It's like making a note to yourself. And then on WhatsApp, there's a search. So of course there's the Q for search, and you just look for your number that you're trying to refer to, or your phrase or your word, and you can look it up on WhatsApp. So that's a way to keep track of it. And sorry. Wow. I hope I can get through this. So 111 in simple gematria is, it's okay, kitty. Like I did New York. Let's see, the start, remember that when they mentioned John F. Kennedy Jr. in the Q post, and it said the start. Well, it means lots of things when you read the Q post. It means one thing for one time, and you read another time and it means something else. The start is when they're talking about Adam and Eve. We're going way back to then, the start. And then they talk about John F. Kennedy Jr. So we've got that. And the start is also the start of all the stuff being shown, coming out in the open. So the start of maybe the market falling could be. So anyway, New York at simple 111 is the start. Time has come. Double speak, like President Trump and Juan and Mr. C. Hi, everybody. Mr. C is really Diana, at least a lot lately. I don't know. I haven't tried to do really old ones to find out if it was really somebody else before. But Mr. C is definitely Diana. And he's on the original Mark Z, like zebra. It comes on Fridays after 10, sometimes 10:15, 10:30, live. So if you're looking for him on the original Mark Z, he usually puts Code Man in the title. Okay, so the start, time has come, movie time, big trouble, no more cash, like will the ATMs close, or whatever. A president, like a president coming on talking. Now at this point, it would probably be the Biden, who's John a lot of times, and Diana, and all kinds of people. I think Bobby's probably in there, American banks pay taxes. So all this, I'm doing 111 because the Titanic sank 111 years ago this weekend. Okay, American banks pay taxes. A Nasera, a Jacera, like, A in the front. No more debt. There's a lot here. Retire from work. An open heaven. And that's like, I'll open the windows of heaven. That's going to be beautiful. But 111 is also second wave. And second wave, it would be, to me, it can be tsunami reference, the fake tsunamis that we'll see on our phones and TVs, when it looks like the world's ending. But second wave could also be second wave of bank failures, because at this point we've had 2 huge U.S. banks fail, I'm doing quotes, and 3 in Europe. So to me, if more happened, that's when we'd have a second wave of bank failures. But it also matches a lot more about waves. It mentions third wave, all this is 111, wave 4, shenanigans, to tell a lie, war advances, like the war is advancing, mask the faces. Well, I mean, obviously that was from the CV crud that went on, the silly stuff. But mask the faces can also mean like showing people in gas masks even. I mean, you know, they're people, I mean, nukes and chemical things and attacks and all that, people are gonna freak out. Just completely freak out. I just can't even imagine. But boy, it'll bring them to God, won't it? Or, you know, the gods. Yeah, it will. So let's see. Oh, and there was something else I was gonna say. Oh, I don't even think I said this. God blackout. If I said it, I'm sorry. God blackout. So another reference to blackout again. Monetary. $ dollar crash. So I'm not sure if I said that. I feel like I skipped it. So yeah, dollar crash. And we already had and Jewish matching New York to collapse Federal Reserve. And like I said, it's the financial capital of the world, New York. Heart of gold, that matches too. Yeah, to tell a lie, shenanigans. I mean, this is so, it's gonna be so cool when it happens. I can't wait. I mean, I don't like to think of people being really upset or anything either, but it's gonna happen. Something's gonna happen, right? Here's more of 111. Oh my gosh. And we laughed and laughed. That's what some of them are going to be laughing. Do not panic matches. And yeah. Oh, and what did I say about taxes? Something about taxes. Yeah, pay taxes matches. Well, everybody in the U.S. knows that April 15th is income tax due date, you know, the last day to file unless you file an extension. Well, that's the day the Titanic went down. So we're talking about down. That's when it actually sank early the next morning of the 15th. So it hit the iceberg late day, the 14th, and then early on the 15th, it sank. So that could be the day. Who knows? It could be a year from then. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, but do not panic regardless. And let's see. And 111 is George Bailey from one of my favorite movies, It's a Wonderful Life. And I watch it every year. A lot of you guys probably do too. And George Bailey was a character in that, like I was saying. And I think you'd call it what he had, a savings and loan or something, I'm pretty sure. And so his savings and loan, it was called the building and loan, and it was going to fail. And they just made it just to the end of the day, and they didn't go under, but it was really close. They had $2 left at the end of the day. And they put it in a basket, and he goes, let's mama dollar and papa dollar, you know, go forth and multiply or something like that. You know, better have some kids real soon, something along those lines. And let's see. Yeah, so that's interesting, you know, that George Bailey matches even. And of course, then Uncle Billy lost $8,000, and that was bad, you know. Okay. What else can I tell you? Oh, and something that's cool that matched that, but that's along a different, you know, category, not to do with money and quantum and everything. But 1485 in Jewish also equals God Jennifer, and Jennifer is Jennifer, the Jennifer Mack is Diana. And maybe it's Jackie when she's being seen as a shorter person at the Patriot events. But God Jennifer is a holy God. And we've had the gods and goddesses around working on all this. So that's it on that. And okay, one more thing. Sorry, my nose is so itchy. It's just, I'm having a rough time today. Oh, okay, this is good. When Juan says, by the way, you know, you'll hear him say by the way quite a bit, but not necessarily every time. But that's a Juanism to me, a Juanism. And when he says that he's Princess Diana, and I know there's other coded things that he says, obvious, everything is coded that he says, just like President Trump. But yeah, by the way is 109, and it's Diana Spencer. And when it's her, when it's her, she tries to sound more like a guy, like a guy, and she'll be more like, almost a little more aggressive when talking to Tom in an interview, and it's like, you're like, whoa, because he'll be like, now, you know, almost like calling him out, or like, wait a minute, or something. I can't remember exactly, but it's just something like that. You're like, whoa, is he in a mood or what? But it's when he's Diana and he's trying to be more like aggressive, I guess, to be more like a guy, and saying phrases and things that you wouldn't think a Princess Diana or Lady Diana would say on purpose. Because like this, I think it's the most recent one that Tom did on, it was either on Psych Club, or it was either Psych Club or the Tom Numbers show. And she said, I'm going to just say she said, he's talking about girly magazines right near the beginning of the interview. Brought up, I don't know, was it Penthouse or something? I can't remember which one, but I think it was. Maybe he was talking about Hugh Hefner. No, that would be Playboy. I don't know. But anyway, girly magazines. And he said it several times. Like, she said it several times. It's hard to remember what to say. And so girly. Okay, wait. Okay. Yeah, girly and simple gematria. And I didn't even finish telling you guys, if you're new, how to do gematria. I only told you about, it was A is 1 and Z through 26, and I use gematrix.org, or I write it down and I do memory stuff. But yeah, so you enter in the search bar on gematrix.org your word or phrase, and you, or all the capitals from a paragraph, you know, like from President Trump, or something written, or like a news article. If you want to find out if that something's an FF, a false flappy thing, you could get the article and fiddle with it a little bit and you'll find out. But I don't use just the first result. I enter lots of things about an article before I decide, like, oh, this is what I think God's telling me. This is fake, you know, like if it's an article about something that happened. And most things that are in the news lately are fake. So it's almost a given if it's something traumatic. Okay, so girly is, oh, and then you, oh, I'm so messed up. So you enter those things in, and then you look at, I look at Jewish. I didn't used to, but now I do, ever since the gematrix.org reset. So I use Jewish and I use simple, because I figured they really want us to see Jewish because of how everything changed after that reset. Okay, girly is 71, Lady Diana. Oh, and then you you look at the matches. This is the most disjointed explanation of how to do gematria I've ever done, ever. I'm so sorry. So if you enter your things and you look at the Jewish and the simple gematria, you write it down, or you put it in a WhatsApp or something, however you want to keep track of things, and you start seeing a story come out. That's the whole point of this thing. You start seeing a story, and it could be the whole phrase that you get for a match is something that you need in your story, or it could be just a little part of that phrase in the match. And not everything matches, obviously. You have to listen to inside and write down what you think is appropriate for what you're working on at that time. And then in a week or two, you could be working on something different and come up with some of the same matches, but they're you're leading you in another direction completely, and that's fine. Let's see, girly is simple gematria. It's 71. It's Lady Diana. So he said girly over and over again, girly magazines, and Lady Diana, and hidden hand, because when you see, take a close look and do some screenshots, like slow the video down. You can do that in settings on YouTube, and just slow it down, and then take some screenshots, and look at the hand, the arm and the hand when Juan is talking and gesturing and all that. And you're gonna start to see that it's weird where his thumb meets the hand, and but it's very real looking. I'm not saying it doesn't look real, but it's not real if you really examine it. And it's not even like just the hand, it's the whole arm. So it's like a bulky arm. Let's see, so yeah, and it's like a gloved arm when you want to, you can look at it that way. I think I have it on the next page. No, maybe I don't. Anyway, yeah, hidden hand, because that's what Juan is doing, or Diana is doing. She's hiding her hand. And that's why the whole thing with President Trump, way back in the primaries, when he was campaigning the first time, he put it out there. The white hats and him put it out there about his small hands. I mean, he didn't say he had small hands, but Marco Rubio was told to say he had small hands. I don't know how, or even if it was still Marco. But anyway, that was a whole line, a storyline out there to get people to go, yeah, I guess he does have small hands. So when he shakes somebody's hand, it's not weird, you know? Anyway, and when he's standing at the podium, it doesn't look weird. I guess that's more the point, because I don't know if they'd be shaking hands with the fake hand. It would probably feel too strange. It would be like too, you know, unreal. Yeah, so hidden hand. Oh, and then so girly also equals boots. And what else do we see besides a hidden hand or hands in Juan videos? We see the boots, and that matches Lady Diana, right? And girly magazine is simple gematria 147, and that equals Mary Magdalene, who Diana is Mary Magdalene. So there you go with that one. I think that's so fun. And I wish I was more excited, but I'm not feeling great. So I don't know. I don't know what to tell you guys next. I think I'm going to take a break. And the cat says, Misty says, I don't even know if you can see Misty. Can you see Misty? I don't know. Well, can you see? I've got oh, you can't see Misty. Bummer. I've got a note in here. Here's Misty. Here's Misty. You say, look up here, Misty. Oh, honey, it's all right. It's all right. It's all right. See? It's okay. And I wanted to thank you guys for donating whatever you do. Through however method you do. You know, I always have the links. That came out wrong. I always have the links under the videos in the video description. And if you want to help Mr. Handy, I'd appreciate it. He's not feeling too hot this last few days. He's been laying down in the mornings, but we're going to get through it. And of course, we're using the Spooky 2 that you guys so generously helped us get. And of course, we appreciate that beyond measure. And anyway, so thank you so much. And oh, we do Venmo and PayPal and buy me a coffee and all those things, as the phrase is now, which also means something else. Can't remember what all the things means, but that these phrases all get put out there for us, you know, to look up, you know. So it's like every time I think of something, but it's hard to remember a whole phrase for what it matches. I should have it written down, and I get to it. But oh yeah, and I don't know when I'll get to it. I hope I get to it soon, but I have these magazines. Can you see these? These magazines that I've written notes in, and it's all full of gums. It's like unbelievable. So I hope I get to that soon. It's so fun. And I know it's very lighthearted what I'm doing, but I'm just trying to get everybody to be calm and know that the world's not going to end and we're going to be fine and all that. Got a cat behind in my face. So I love you guys, and I'll see you soon, I hope, and we will get the cat butt out of here and say goodbye. Say goodbye. Say goodbye. Okay. Goodbye, everybody. Love you.